Hello everybody, welcome back to another video. I'm hoping you guys are all having a fantastic day. So today's upload, as you can tell by the title of today's video, is the potential for a snowstorm. Yes, not all models are agreeing on this, but there's the European that is showing the snowstorm. And it's very likely that it actually could happen. It's not that far out. It's this upcoming Wednesday, Thursday time frame across the Northeast this time, which is pretty surprising. The Northeast has not really seen a big snowstorm yet so far this season, but I mean, we're opening up November with a bang. This isn't really the snowstorm right here. It's a little bit different. So yeah, consider subscribing, guys. Consider liking the video. It really means a lot if you like, what we do on this channel or what I do. I just make all these weather-related content videos. Try to inform you guys. I know many of you don't have TVs, don't watch the Weather Channel, don't watch Weather Network, so I try keeping you guys updated as much as possible, and I am trying to do so, daily, but once in a while that may fail, but we've been on a pretty good streak. So we will continue that today as well. So we're looking right now at the GFS. Now the GFS is not the model that is showing the snowstorm, but it definitely has the same, I guess, ingredients, the same potential, but it just doesn't have them two forming together. So the first thing first thing is we see this weak low pressure going off into Canada. Have some scattered snow showers, some snow. Nothing really significant out of this. I mean, you can see it's a rain event all the way up to northern Michigan. And then notice also how there's a potential little system right here across. This is now coming. Okay, so basically this big small low pressure brings in a pretty nice cool down around the Tuesday, Wednesday time frame, or sorry, Monday, Tuesday, so Monday night into Tuesday. Right now, look at this. It's pretty big troughs, so this is kind of a nice setup. This is often where we see a potential northern piece come through, and then maybe a southern piece, and that's when we form those big nor'easters. Well, you can see that the GFS definitely has this northern piece up to it. It's there. It's some light to moderate snow, some snow accumulations of up to several inches across these locations. Then we see a southern piece starting to develop, right? But by the time this southern piece starts to develop, this northern piece isn't really much of a deal, and these two things kind of never really see each other. And then this storm really develops out into the ocean, but not really into the central part of the country. And then we get into next weekend with a big trough as well. And this model also has a snowstorm for the Northeast. And actually, the weird thing is the GFS and the European agree on this snowstorm next Tuesday, but they don't agree about the snowstorm this Thursday. Now, let me show you the European first, just on tropical tidbits, and show you how these two pieces of energy phase together. So notice we have this northern piece right now, comes through Monday, where we have the southern piece right in here. It's basically connecting, and it doesn't really look like it, but at this time right there, you can see the system develops at the base of this trough, and it sends a nice area of snow across the Northeast. So that's what and you can see some chilly air behind it as well. That's what the models don't agree with. And let's look at the European model now. European on weathermodels.com. It is a great website, except you gotta pay for it, so that's the only con, but it's definitely worth it in my opinion. You can see that this is again Monday. We have this weak system occurring. It's actually already widespread, very light rain. It's not. I wouldn't even say it's widespread. It's just such a light little drizzle almost. It's not going to really do any damage, any harm. It's not going to do any travel impacts. And you can see it moves up to the north, maybe into Canada, southeast Canada, could leave some heavier snow. Not up here. Then we have that other piece of energy, which is on Wednesday and Thursday. Mainly Wednesday across the Midwest, leaves quite a bit of snow. I mean, nothing record-breaking, but maybe a couple of inches. Notice, though, however, this really this system right here has really, it kind of leads the way with the Arctic blast. It doesn't really connect with the second piece, but the second piece, the European, has it going further north than what the GFS has. If you recall the GFS, let me quickly go back to this. The same storm, or the storm we are looking at is the GFS that took it out into the ocean, and it was a very powerful storm, but it was out in the ocean. I don't know. Right here, basically, you see this, some heavy rain, light to moderate rain, and then it really develops right across these locations, and it's almost like, you know, if the trough was a little bit deeper, then maybe it could have scooped this thing up the coast, but it's still November, and this thing doesn't really form itself. And the European has this thing up here, and that makes a whole world of a difference. As you can see, we go through this. That's the first wave, and then this one already is bringing snow across Indiana, Ohio, Pennsylvania, and look, it brings it into Boston, New York City, a little bit of snow, and then it really rides up the coast later on by Nova Scotia and Halifax and all of those locations, and you can see Labrador and Newfoundland. It's a big system, but it doesn't really do much of snow for the Northeast. You know, I mean, it does compared to the GFS, but it could definitely still be even more if this European keeps it closer to the shore, which it could definitely do in the next couple of days. So what are the snowfall amounts with this? Well, they're not record-breaking, but they're definitely gonna, if this were to occur, and, you know, we might not even see the snowstorm occur, we'll just have to see what the models are showing. You could see the snowfall amounts aren't going to be too awfully great, but definitely a widespread 5 to 6 to possibly even localized more, even more localized. We could definitely see some higher amounts. Let's go to the Northeast United States, and I want to show you this. Nothing, you know, nothing insane, nothing record breaking, but it's definitely, I mean, it's there. Let's look through this, and right there we have it. Look at that. Nothing record breaking, but again, here you can see in the near future there's a second snowstorm that could occur. So right now we're just going to focus on this snowstorm, but notice how the widespread 5, 6, 7 inches of snow from but let's actually adjust it with the Cuchero snowfall rates. Those are usually more accurate. This is just, yeah, there, Cuchero snowfall. Those are usually more accurate, so we could see what is the cause. Yeah, I mean, you can see they have it a little bit more, and these are with the right snowfall ratios. So this usually is more accurate, as this usually has the right snowfall ratios with it. So instead of being 10 to 1 in this case, it would be a little bit chillier, probably 12 or 13 to 1, which is 1 inch of rain is equal to 13 inches of snow. And notice how 9, 7, possibly up to 10 inches maybe in some locations. So not a monster, but for November it definitely would be a concern, and definitely would be something we'd have to keep an eye on for. Notice how the second snowstorm could also bring quite a bit of snow as well. That'd be interesting to see as well if we got even more snow from the second system. Which, while we're at it, I could just show you quickly the precipitation type. And yeah, like I told you, this is a weird thing. The GFS and the European model both agree on the second storm, but they don't agree on the first storm, which is weird, but, you know, it's the models, so they're obscure and really, you know, not really they're not really foreseeable or explainable. Notice this one's on the Tuesday time frame. Nothing too powerful, at least it seems at this time. Definitely brings some snow across Boston, New York, and you can see it's kind of like a northeast skimmer. It just skims that coastline, and this is Tuesday, Wednesday. And if you go to the GFS around that Tuesday, Wednesday time, which would be the 12th. No, which would be the 11th, 12th. Okay, so around the 11th, 12th time frame of November, 9th, 10th. Here you can see the GFS also shows this system right here across the Northeast. So it's weird. I'm definitely not going to deny that. It's weird that they agree on the second system. As to why, well, maybe there is more, you know, more favorable environment for the second system. It's, you know, there's less likely paths that it could take. For the southern system, or the first system, sorry, there's many other ways it could do. I mean, it's really not being directed too awfully much by anything, so it really just depends on the low and where it decides to go. And obviously, yes, lows don't just decide where to go. They get pushed by outside factors, but maybe, you know, the models just have better agreement on that one in particular, thinking the similar air mass, you know, we'll just have to wait and see. In terms of the GFS, I want to quickly look at one thing. So basically what they have happening is you could see this pretty strong low pressure, or it's not really marked on here, but it's bringing down quite a bit of colder air, and this has the system with the precip right here compressed to the south and doesn't really move to the north, can't really fight it. While the European, I'm pretty sure, let's just go to, keep it consistent, let's just keep it on tropical tidbits. So the main difference is that the European has the cold air arriving a little bit later. The GFS has it arriving a little bit earlier. They both have it arriving at the same magnitude and roughly a little bit weaker with the European. But see, this is where things really go crazy because usually, European better with snowstorms, GFS better with air masses, and now this is kind of like a snowstorm is being shown by the Europeans, so I would prefer to take the Europeans' opinion. But then the GFS has a valid explanation for it, as the cold air will be not allowing that storm or to be going up to the north, and GFS has been more accurate with the cold air this fall so far than the European. So it's conflicting. We'll just have to see what exactly happens. What in the next couple of mile runs that will really decide what happens. If the European just loses a storm, then that's probably the rest of what we'll be seeing. Just maybe a precip maker to the south, some heavy rain. But if the GFS starts showing it in the next evening model run and tomorrow, then we could definitely be looking at a powerful system. Wouldn't say amazing, wouldn't say extremely powerful, but definitely potential to drop several inches. And I want to quickly show you this. Here's a 540 line on the European, while the GFS had it like way down here, and that allows the system to kind of track up here and not really get compressed down to the south. And you can see that would obviously bring in quite a bit of snow for those locations. So that's it. That's that basically. Here's the other system at this time frame, bringing also the storm around the Tuesday, Wednesday time frame. So that'd be interesting to see if that actually occurs. But I can show you the GFS snowfall amounts with the second system, even though that's very far out. I know some of you are curious for that. So with that second system, nothing really impactful. With the one system by itself, it would be more likely if the two systems combined could leave, as the European was showing like 16, 17 inches of rain, of snow. You can see right there like 4 or 5 inches with that second system. GFS, usually does a better job with the air masses and not the snowstorms. But, in this case, it's kind of a scenario of both really mixed in. You're going to notice how it's some very chilly air is coming in and some pretty heavy snow right there with those darker blues with this potential system on Thursday, Friday, which would be interesting. We'll probably know the outcome of this by Tuesday, Wednesday, definitely Wednesday, maybe even tomorrow really, if both models start showing it. If it's still just European versus GFS, I'm going to start thinking the European's right as well. If the European just stops showing it all of a sudden, then most likely it's not going to happen. So yeah, that's a little bit of insight on this possible snowstorm. I can show you the snowfall amounts, and overall just headed for the northeast. They're pretty significant. So if you live in the northeast, you should be excited about this. Look at these amounts. They're pretty drastic actually. And again, I want to go on to Kuchera, not just the snowfall. Kuchera is way more accurate. You could see the amounts are definitely significant. 16, 10. New York City in this case would be seeing up to almost a foot of snow. That's exciting. So we'll just have to wait and see what exactly happens. But things are looking pretty snowy and cold. That's definitely. I already made a video about that yesterday. Why the pattern is really conducive for big snowstorms. So you could check that video as well. Thank you guys so much for watching. Consider liking the video. Consider subscribing to the channel. And I'll catch you all guys on the next episode. See ya.